what's up, y'all? Clean Cut's the one reporting live from the Clean Cut Grooming Lounge with another video. Good to see you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Today I want to hit you guys with a topic that I haven't really seen a video on in quite a long time, if even ever. I want to talk to you about combs. Just in general, just combs. And the reason why I want to talk about them is because for me, I consider myself, as far as a barber, I'm a barber among other things. I'm a shop owner. You know, we got the Tennessee Barber Expo going now. So I've got my hands in a lot of different things, but I'm a barber first and foremost. And as far as being a barber goes, and as far as quality of haircuts goes, I would say I'm pretty much average Joe. I don't think I'm in like an incredibly accelerated group range, but I know I provide exceptional service and that my clients absolutely love our shop because of the service that we provide. If you want to see the kind of haircuts that come out at Clean Cut Grooming Lounge, just check us out on Instagram, Clean Cut Grooming. But I want to talk about combs because the perspective that I've presented from the beginning has been the perspective of a student. The information that I've put out has generally been information that has been valuable to those who are just getting off the ground. People who need something tangible, something basic that they can grab onto. I want to touch on some things that are practical, that anybody can understand, that will be helpful from everybody, from the student to the average. And if you're an advanced barber, this is probably stuff that you already know. So if you're an advanced barber and you continue to watch this video, I thank you. Thank you for your view. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. For the students and for the average Joes that are wondering what's it going to take to get to the next level, I believe that combs are a very important thing that we need to be looking at. And so today we're going to talk about combs. All right, so why are combs so important? Before me, I have every kind of comb that I use. All these combs are out of my station. And so the first thing I want to address is, why are combs so important? And I know for me, when I was a student, I had a set of the pack. I think it like comes with 10 or 20 of them in a pack. And that was the only thing that I had ever used when I was in barber school. And it was a basic comb. It looked something similar to this. They were all black. Wasn't anything special about it. There were no holes in the spine, anything like it. It was a piece of plastic. And so I would use this comb all the way through school, learn whatever I could learn, which wasn't a whole lot. And my haircuts came out how they came out. What I found was, when I started to go to barber shows, I went to the Pro Beauty show in Macon, Georgia. And there was a company there who was selling carbon combs. And when I picked up this comb, which I don't actually have one of those anymore, but I remember when I picked up this comb, it felt different than the plastic that I'd been handling at school and that I'd done all my haircuts with. And so I picked up one of these combs. And when I went back to the school and I used this comb, I found that like this was literally a world of difference. This made a huge difference in my haircuts, in the way that I held my combs and the things that I did, and the way that I picked up the hair. Everything that I did, there was a huge difference. So the first thing I was like, well, I need as many carbon combs as I can get. And so it had me investigating other materials that combs were made out of. So moving on from that comb, I've got one great comb and like 25 terrible combs. And so I had a friend of mine named Zach the Barber, Zach Layton on Instagram. If you don't know him, you need to get to know him. He's an amazing Tomb 45 influencer, great dude. He had these combs listed on Facebook for sale. So because I had already found that there was a difference in the combs that you use, and I'd already discovered that combs matter, the combs that you're going to use, I think I bought these combs for like $25. You can see just the different shapes. I knew that Zach was a great barber. I wanted to use the tools that the great barbers were using. So I picked up these combs and began to use them. And I noticed that, yes, my haircuts are coming out better. My sections, my partings, my clipper over comb is flowing smoother through these combs. And these did me very well for quite a while. So moving on, as I went to other shows, I found out a brand called YS Park. Okay, and so YS Park is the brand that I want to talk to you about the most. I'm not getting paid to promote them or anything like that. And if you have a good alternative, I would like for you to tell me about those in the comments, because we definitely want to get that information out. This is the YS336. I also have the YS339. Now these look the same, they're different sizes. But what makes these combs different? Well, if you'll look, you can see that they have a spine on them, right? And these spines have ridges, and so they're kind of weighted, and so it helps with your grip when you're gripping the hair, and it's just the material. It has a texture. They're not made out of carbon, but the texture on these combs is very comfortable to hold. It's very, it's aesthetically pleasing to your fingertips and to the motions that you do while you're cutting hair. They flip around in your hands really good. You can move them around. You can go from one side to the other, and they just cooperate with you. All right. Another thing that these combs have are these teeth, and it's not just limited to YS Park, but these are the ones that that I use, and these teeth are great for taking your partings. If you look in the videos, if you're watching Barber, anybody that's doing shear cutting, you'll notice that they're using combs that have these teeth on them. And these teeth are good for taking your partings and then for separating the hair. And so a lot of the things that I see people doing on videos look like hard stuff to do. It looks like concepts that, you need a lot of continuing education to learn. You need a lot of practice. The one thing I'm learning is that the tools help. Having a comb like this will get you excited about taking sections, about taking partings, and tools like this will actually empower you to be able to execute the technique better than you could if you didn't have the right tool. For instance, some of them have teeth that are like this, but they don't have the point. This point is what helps you be able to draw the line in their hair, if you will, so that way you can get a precision part. This one doesn't have the point, so you can kind of see the difference. This one is going to give you great sectioning. This one has a point, but it's not. That gap on the red one makes all the difference in the world. And so these YS Park combs are conscious to do all that. And as you can see, I have a lot of these combs because you run through a lot in a day. When you're doing different haircuts, you need to, if you drop one after you finish one cut, you need to be able to just throw them into the barbicide and keep it moving. So you need a new comb for everything that you do. I also have these 336s and these 339s are basically the same comb, just one is bigger than the other. And I started off on the 336 because it's what was recommended to me. I do enjoy the 339. It seems like I pick it up more often than usual. These combs, because of what they're made of and because the teeth are so durable, when you're fading, you can use it as a fade comb. It'll knock the hair down as you're sitting here trying to comb the hair. And I seem to pick up this bigger one more than I do the smaller one. The smaller one's good. I find that in barbering, the smaller the tool, the more detailed the work is for. So this is more like a workhorse, but if I'm doing some very detailed shear over comb, I'll use a smaller comb like this 336. So I keep 339s, I keep 336s, and for doing a lot of shear work, that's where the 332s come in handy. This is the 332. You can see that it has separated teeth on this side and very tight teeth on this side. And the reason why these teeth are like this is so that way you can use these teeth to create your parting. You can pick up bulk of hair and then you can cut off and you can remove bulk. These would be more for after you've taken your section. You can flip the cone because it's got that spine that just flips in your hand so easily. Take your section, flip the comb, and then you can use these. These teeth keep tension that will allow you to continue to take continuous sections. They will bring that traveling guideline along with you. So you can just make your guideline, flip it, separate it, and then pull down. And so these teeth are really good for that. I find that these are really good for haircuts that do a lot of shear work and that where you're removing a lot of bulk on top. So, what have we got so far? I recommended the YS Park. Again, if you guys have alternatives to these, let us know because we all need to know. We're all looking for an alternative to these expensive YS Park combs. We're going to talk about the price on these here in just a minute. But we've got the 336. We have the 339, which is a bigger version of the 336. And you can see that these have wide teeth and these have the tension teeth. That's what I'm going to call them. And then the 332, which is for heavy bulk shear cutting as well as detail shear cutting. Moving on, let's talk about, another thing that YS Park has going for them is that they make so many different kinds of combs. They make combs that are just so thin that, like for instance, this one, the only real use I can find for this comb is mustache. It's trimming mustaches. But check out the thinness on this. This is one of the new combs they just came out with. All right, look at the difference on how thin these are. So this comb is excellent for trimming mustaches. compared to this, whereas this would be kind of harder to get in. Then you've got like taper combs, and to be honest with you, I have not been using this taper comb very much because it's such a small comb, and I feel like its use is pretty limited for me. Now I will say with tightly curled hair on skin fades, half guards, no guard open, this definitely does help to remove the hair, but I don't find myself using this comb very much, although I do like it still. I love the quality. You can tell it's all there. Most of these YS Park combs run at least $20, so when you're talking about $20 for a comb, $18 for a comb, you drop it on the comb, you're talking about spending some money just on combs. There's a lot of money right here. So I suggest that you just buy one at a time. Once you buy one, you're going to see the difference and how they can help your haircuts. You're just going to be able to tell it as soon as you do one cut with this type of comb. So I suggest just get one at a time and start building your collection. I didn't buy all these at once, and it's not reasonable to expect a student could. But if you're really passionate and you understand the concept of investing in yourself, then this is definitely something that you want to do. You want to invest in your tools. So let's talk about clipper combs. I have a ton of these clipper combs. If you've ever bought a clipper, you also have a ton of these combs, because these clipper combs come with almost every single clipper, cordless clipper, corded clipper. This is what they're giving away with them in the box. Are these functional? Yes. Do they work? Yes. Do I pick these up and do I use these? Yes, 100%. I absolutely use them. One thing that I love about these is that they come with black and they come with white options. So that way you can put the black comb on the white hair and the white comb on the black hair, so that way you can see for your clipper over comb work. I see some people using these for shear over comb. Whatever works, man. There's a million ways to skin a cat. These are functional for what they were created to do. However, there are other options. For instance, this is my white Kenny Duncan comb. There's no branding on it. I've had this for ever since I started barber school. I don't think they make these anymore, but there's something about this comb that is so good. But there's subtle differences. Here is a babyless comb. It looks almost identical. I mean, literally identical. The shape, size, even the teeth are almost identical. This functions better than this. This has more of a matte finish on it. There's some other clipper combs that have ridges in the middle of them. A lot of barbers in my shop say that they really like the True Barber clipper comb that has the ridges in the middle because it helps them pick up the hair. It's not my experience. I stick with this Kenny Duncan clipper comb, but I can't recommend it because they don't make them anymore and they don't sell them. Anybody that's ever picked up this clipper comb or anybody that's ever used one will know what I'm talking about. But a lot of clipper combs I'm finding don't pick up the hair very well. They don't. When you scoop up under there, they just, for some reason, they just mash on the hair. They don't want to get it. And I can't explain that. It's something about the texture of what it's made out of, and it's just something that you'll learn as you go. I will say that you'll notice on the end of these is they're much thicker than this one. You see how thin the Kenny Duncan teeth are? That's probably a closed half. These generally tend to be a little bit bigger than a half. And so you can get a lot more detail done with these flatter ones than you can with these as far as going down in the size of the clipper that you're using. So nothing wrong with these. If these are all you have, keep using them. But don't be afraid to check out the rolled up, the Kenny Duncan, the True Barber, clipper combs. Any of these, I definitely recommend these flat ones. You need to have one of these in your arsenal at some point. All right, let's move on to styling combs. This is the styling comb that I received in my student kit. I still keep it. It's just as functional as anything you can buy at Sally's. I know because I bought this at Sally's, and you'll notice that one of the teeth broke. Well, the student kit did not break. The Sally's one did break. There is something that feels a little bit cheaper about this, but I think the thing that feels cheaper is this came with my student kit, and I paid money for this. To be honest with you, a lot of these tools, they might not look fancy, they might not look great. I would say that, the one that you buy has a little bit better teeth for parting, but I mean, this is just as functional as this. So don't hesitate to use this, and these are just for finish, the final look that you want in the hair. So just imagine when you run these teeth through the hair on a finished haircut with product in it, what these teeth look like is going to be what the separation of the hair looks like. So choose your finishing comb or your styling comb based on what you want the finished hairstyle to look like. I'm not the best barber in my shop, not the second best barber in my shop. I'm just a barber who knows how to provide a good service. But I do know that without good quality combs, I wouldn't be able to do the cuts that I can do now. I wouldn't be able to do the shear over comb, clipper over comb, and be able to take the sections that I take in order to put on the haircuts that I put out. So I hope you found this video helpful. If there's anything that I didn't cover about the combs, if there's any questions that you have about different combs or different styling tools, let me know. Again, these are Believer Barber basics. These are things that I remember all the questions that I had when I was in school. I remember how I felt looking at all these advanced techniques, looking at all this work that these barbers were putting out, and I just felt like I could never get there. I didn't know how this was going to happen for me, and I'm here to tell you that it's cool. There's some stuff you can look at, some simple steps that you can take on your way to becoming the best barber that you can be, such as upgrading your combs, and there's a way to do it. It's not impossible. It might take some time, it might take some money, but you'll get there. If you're hungry and you're willing to do what it takes, you will get there. So don't be so hard on yourself. If you're in school, if you're an early barber, if you're trying to figure out why you can't get things done, why your shear work's not working out right, grab another comb and see if it helps. And so that's it. For some of these videos, I want to be sure that I'm talking to the new barbers. I want to be sure that I'm talking to the up-and-coming guys. I want to be sure that I want to talk to myself. I want to say the things that I needed to hear when I was in barber school and when I was a young barber and I didn't know how this barber thing was going to work out for me. I knew it was going to work, but I didn't know. I had a lot of questions that I couldn't find answers to. So that's who I'm talking to. If that's you, let me know that this content is valuable for you so that way I can keep producing it. If you have questions as a student or as a young barber, let me know your questions. I'd be glad to answer them. I'd be glad to tell you my experience. I'm not the barber that's got it all together. I don't have all the answers for everything, but what I do have is a willingness to take my time and to give it to you and at least share my experience with you in hopes that you can use it and you can translate it into something that helps you become who you want to be. So, if you like this video, go ahead and hit thumbs up down there for me. If it's your first time visiting the channel, you can go ahead and subscribe. We've got plenty of videos on the way. Go ahead and check out some of the old stuff. Let me know what you think about this video in the comments. Hit me up with all of your questions. And guys, just know I appreciate you. Until next time, peace.